Ready? Good afternoon, Commissioners. We'll come to order for the monthly March 6 Anderson County Commission Budget Committee. Robbie, if you would, call the roll, please.
Sure. Commissioner Mays. Here. Commissioner Palmer. She's here, but out of the. Commissioner Vandegrift. Here. Commissioner Val.
Here.
Commissioner White. Commissioner Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Beauchamp. Here. And Commissioner Smallridge.
Here.
Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. If you would, please, everyone, join me in prayer, and then we will ask Commissioner Vandegrift if she would to lead us in the pledge. Heavenly Father, we give you honor and praise today. We thank you, Lord, for every blessing that you send to us, most of all for our salvation, but acknowledging you for everything good in our lives. Please forgive us of our sins, Lord, times, Lord, that we fall short, times, Lord, that we don't do as you would have us to do. We pray, Father, as we enter into this meeting, that you would be with each one of us in our hearts and our minds as we conduct the business of your people to do what's right in your sight. All this we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. Next item on the agenda is appearance of citizens. If you would please come to the podium and state your name and address, please, sir, and you have approximately 3 minutes.
My name is Robert Walker. I'm a resident of Oak Ridge. I'm here because I really respect the work that you do. And I think it's a fantastic management tool, and I really applaud you for doing the business of the public. With that in mind, I've got some questions that pertain to the Election Commission budget. There's three things in particular. One is from the February 6th budget. It's from the minutes where there was a transfer of funds within the Election Commission overall budget from the one in particular that concerns me is about public notices. Apparently public notices was an account that was budgeted but not spent. I normally would have thought that this would have been a legal requirement, just like the county, if you have things to inform the public of meetings or actions or so on. That's the purpose of that kind of money. So the first question is, why wasn't it spent? And then secondly, it was spent for election workers. And there's nothing wrong with spending it on election workers. But this is kind of a general question I have for you in terms of process. What's the appropriate way to inform the Budget Committee of changes? Is it after you've reallocated the money and spent it? Or is it in the process of making the decisions that you're planning to do it? So it's a larger question, and really it pertains to all departments, not just one. Secondly is there's a request for today's meeting about medical insurance for a new hire. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not questioning that. The question I have is, when you're getting towards the end of a fiscal year, is it appropriate to do a new hire without consulting with the budget department before? Because you know it's going to push you over your budget.
You have 30 seconds left.
Okay. And then the last one is, I bring to your attention a sort of an informal list of outstanding bills that were circulated at the last Election Commission meeting. To my knowledge, these have never been submitted to the Budget Committee. So the larger question is, what is the policy on what you expect departments to do in terms of filing timely notice? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else want to speak under the appearance of citizens? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Palmer to approve the agenda, seconded by Commissioner Mays. Any discussion?
Chairman Val, do we need to add the two new business items to the
yes.
agenda?
Would you like to amend your motion to include those?
The opioid and the general, the courtroom.
Oh, the courtroom, yes, okay. Yes, I will amend that motion to include, and put those, are those under the purchasing or
They're under new business.
under new business?
That all right with you, Commissioner Mays, for the second? Yes, sir. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. Next item is purchasing contracts with legal review.
Oh, sorry, it's me. Under purchasing contracts with legal review, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. 2 are from the school nutrition with beef and chicken commodities. 2 EMS contracts for tuition, and 1 grant from for EMA, the Homeland Security grant.
Second.
Commissioner Allen moves to approve contracts A, B, C, D, and E
Yes, sir.
as a group. And who was the second on that? Commissioner Mays. Any discussion?
I have one quick question.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Smalley.
This is a question really, and not a complaint, but I noticed that one of the items we have under contracts had about 85, 90 pages attached. And I was wondering, is that necessary to have that much backup data, which I don't think any of us read? It's just too voluminous.
I can ask Catherine that question.
For the record, I read it.
I don't do the purchasing part. I put it on the agenda, but she puts the contracts together. I agree. It makes this budget packet seem so large, but it is the full contract. So, and that's what we normally have submitted for the purchasing committee as well, but when it was by itself. So,
Robbie, I think Annette attaches them separately from the agenda for commission, so maybe we could do that for y'all for budget?
Yes, she does create a link.
we can create a link and not, yeah, there'll still be 90 pages on your link, but I would love not to print all this personally, but.
Thank you.
If that's, and I think adding the purchasing committee to the budget committee, if there's any changes y'all would like to see, I mean, I've changed this 5 times, I think, myself, just trying to get, even in commission, I don't know what order I want to do things in. So if you have any suggestions, or want to see something different, I'm fine with it. So.
My question was, there was not a contract for Matthew Wilson. I just wanted to make sure we did, in fact, have one signed. Wasn't in my packet. I don't think I overlooked it. There was one for James Hurst. Is it?
Yeah, maybe one of those back pages.
I didn't see it. Did you see it?
I thought I did that.
There is one for Hurst, but there wasn't one for Matthew Wilson.
Yeah, it's on the back side.
I saw both of them in there.
It's page 102.
102.
Yeah, 102 through 104.
All right, thank you.
I did make 2-sided copies.
Okay.
Yeah, for you all.
Commissioner Smallridge may have a really good idea.
I'm going to take note of that right now.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, and contracts pending legal review, and now this has been, has had legal review from our law director, is the Eagle View Property Assessor contract. This would be for next year's budget year, the 6-year contract starting next year, aerial imaging of contract in the amount of $88,012.50 per year. We currently have a sole source, and that's not ended yet, has it, Catherine? Ends on the 11th. And if someone was to say they can do the same, then we would have to put it out to bid, but I don't think we've had any responses yet.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Mays makes a motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Allen. Any discussion?
I have one quick question.
Commissioner Mays.
Is Johnny in here?
Yes.
Johnny, just really quick, what makes it sole source? What do they do that separates it?
Well, I think it's the 1-inch imagery is the one thing, and then taking the photos and put them on the property record card automatically. I don't think there's any other companies that do that. And the image, I think the closest is 3-inch.
All right, thank you.
And to do a sole source, we have to list what those things, and that's what we listed, the 1-inch
Okay,
imagery.
good deal. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen.
Yeah, you're going to be getting some new equipment in your office, correct? Some new terminals and some new computers type of things.
Well, just, it wouldn't be anything different than what we have now, just upgrading our computers.
Oh, so
You
you'll
know,
be
we do
using,
a couple a year.
you'll be using the same monitors?
Same monitor,
Oh,
same
okay.
computer, same everything. There won't be any cost there. It's just be the software and the flight data.
Yeah.
The
that was
aerial
my
imagery.
question. I just saw software there. I didn't see any hardware components there, so,
Right.
well, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions for Mr. Allen? Commissioner Palmer.
So Johnny, does this have to be a 6-year contract? I noticed there's 2-year, it's broken out like that on this one sheet, Project 1, Project 2, Project 3.
That's the flights. That's for every 2 years they'll
So
do a
every 2
flight.
years.
So that's why I think there's I don't know if Mr. Brooks got a chance. Did you look at the contract on the Eagle View as far as, there might be an early out in that. I don't know, we can look at that, but they set it up for the 2-year flights.
Okay. I noticed that you include Clinton, the city of Clinton, and the city of Rocky Top, that they had no issue with moving from a 5 to a 4. But you've given us a proposal for the cost share for the cities.
Correct.
Is there an MOU between the cities that they will share in the cost?
No, there might be that, but it's a state law that says that cities are supposed to participate in the cost share program with the reappraisal, and they're supposed to pay 50% of the cost of the reappraisal for the number of parcels in their city. So say if it costs $20 to do an appraisal on each property, and it would be $10 charged to the city per parcel. And that
Okay.
would be for every city, and they get billed that. We create the bill, and then it's sent out through the finance department.
Okay, so I guess then this is a question for the finance director. Do we have any kind of agreement between the cities?
We tried to work an agreement out when we condensed 2 budgets to 1, and we did try to work an agreement out with the cities, but I don't think we ever got that agreement signed. But the cities are paying.
And you've had no issue with them paying in the past with the,
Just a little bit from the city of Clinton at first, but not lately.
okay,
They didn't pay the full amount. But now I don't know, when they have another $88,000 plus other increases that when we get into
Okay.
budget season, I mean, that's going to increase their what they owe.
okay.
Quite a
Maybe
bit
I'm
more.
just overly cautious or
No,
whatever,
that's
but,
a good question. Yeah, it'll be put into the cost share because it's used in the reappraisal process.
I guess here's my concern. This is going to go into your budget, and your budget's over $1 million now. It's increased 200,000. What we're looking at, right? So I want to make sure that we have some cost share here and that the county's not absorbing all of this. So I don't know, I kind of would like to, I don't know if that's appropriate to get the MOUs before. I just don't want the county to be on the hook for all of this. If the counties are going to use it, or the cities are going to use it, and then other departments, are you going to charge the other departments to use it?
Well, that's what we're looking into, utility companies. See, when Yeah, Anderson County was the first, with that letter I put in, and some of the history, I wasn't here, but I wrote the letter just so everybody would know that the year 2000 is when Anderson County first took it on. It was $118,000 then, and for 10 years, everybody paid their portion, and some utility companies and the cities all pitched in. But then in 2010, TDOT flew a map and gave it to the state, so everybody quit paying. They're using that imagery, but they've got away from it. The last time they flew the state was in the county was 2019.
Right.
So they've got away from it again. So.
And I appreciate that packet of information. It was very helpful, all of the history and all of that. I just want us to, I'd like to see this to be nice and tidy and clean and with all the proper agreements and
Right.
and all of that. And so do you have to have this approved tonight? Can it wait a month until we make sure that the cities are in agreement? Is that proper? I guess I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I think I can answer that. Yeah, we could wait. I'd like to approval that we're in favor of it, but if there's something that comes up, we can always stop it. But I need to get in line to get in order, because there's Sullivan County, I think Washington County, there's 3 or 4 or 5 other counties coming on this year, and I want to get into the February, March timeframe next year of flying, because the shadows are off, the leaves are off the trees. It's the best time to fly. But no, to answer your question, we could wait.
Let me ask this question. So, Johnny, if we put all this in your budget, you're going to bill the cities
I'm going to
that
bill
portion
them.
of the budget. So, I mean, we're going to invoice them.
And I'm going to go to the utility companies too and see if they're willing to, because I'm the one that would control it, who gets a copy of it, if they want to use it or not.
Okay.
And Oak Ridge has already contacted the same Eagle View, is what I've understood. And
Okay.
they're in favor of it, and I talked to the city manager, and he said he didn't have an issue with, increased cost to get benefits and return on investment that
Right.
way.
When we get to your budget, I've got a couple of questions about your budget too, because I mean, this should, when a department, buys new technology that should keep us, should make us more efficient and take a workload off, then we need to look at where we can, trim in the budget,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so, all right, I'm done. Thank you.
Commissioner Mays?
Yeah, a couple of things that Commissioner Palmer, I wanted to ask Jamie, if he would. With it being covered in state law, and it's something that we continue to do you see the need of an MOU with the city, or just continue to, it's something that the city's expecting, something that we do every year? Is that something that, is it necessary to hold anything up for an MOU?
Has that been the history?
Well, we just started it, Robbie, what was it, about 5 years ago. We were just getting a small amount, and then the law came into light, and I just started telling the cities that, you're supposed to be paying 50% of your cost share for the reappraisal. That's what Robbie said. We got a little bit pushback at first from 1 or 2 of the cities, but then they understood, so they've been paying. But we did have an MOU but I don't think it ever got signed by Checkham, but they've been paying, so. And it's time, it's a 5-year contract, so I think it's time to renew them.
Will their portion go up with this Eagle View?
It will, but it would depend on how much the utility companies pitch in.
Okay.
That would cut the cost for the county and for the cities if in fact they decide to use it, and I think they would. It's, the Rome County assessor gives it to the planning department, police, fire, EMS, EMA, ORUD, CUB, Powell Clinch, all those can use it as well.
Yeah, I would, Mr. Chairman, I would just hate to get wrapped up in 25 MOUs for something that, if it's something that's covered under the law, and then also if the utilities want to use it and they don't pay for it, then, Johnny's obviously got the control over that. And then if it would be okay with Commissioner Palmer, I would hate to hold it up. Johnny presented it last month. I would hate to hold it up in committee and maybe give him a couple of weeks to address any of those concerns. Then when we get to full commission, if there's any more concerns there, then we can either vote it up or down. But like he said, I would like to, maybe if we could move forward with it through committee and see what happens at that point.
And Commissioner Mays, Commissioner Palmer, to answer your question, I'll check the statute, and I'll have something for this body at the commission meeting on the 17th, if not before.
I would
Thank you.
appreciate that. And
Thank
I am fine. I just wanted to make sure this was being covered. Yeah, and Thank you, Commissioner Rice.
And I would, if I would just want, I agree with Commissioner Palmer. I don't think we're not talking budgets today, right? We're not, no budget hearings, anything like that.
No budget hearings.
Yeah, we're gonna,
But we are going to discuss budgets a little bit.
but we're not gonna get in the weeds of it, right?
No.
Okay,
I mean, unless y'all want to.
no. I don't think that would be fair to anybody at this
No.
point.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All right, motion on the floor is to approve it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Thank you. And I want to talk about the Deckard.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask for, if I could,
Well, hey,
please.
Johnny, you're on the agenda on, in section C, so why don't you talk about Deckard then?
Okay, it was the short-term rental software, the Deckard technology. That one I do need for this year. but-
Okay.
Next item is the capital asset donation.
So this was approved in, well, commission approved this last month, for this EMA, the truck, the fire truck to give to the city of Oak Ridge, but I don't think we'd surplused it properly yet, so this is just agreeing, getting a motion to surplus the truck, the hazmat truck.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Allen moves to approve. Commissioner Smallridge? Second motion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried. Cash and fund balance report.
Okay,
Director
cash and fund
Goldberg.
balance, February, ending February 2025, the general fund, the unassigned fund balance, 10.7 million. Total fund balance is 17.6 million, cash 25,334,959. The schools, 10.7 million fund balance and cash 22.6 million. February is always the highest cash month, and it goes down because that's, taxes are due in February, the end of February, so it will always be our biggest cash month for all the funds. Any questions on the fund balance? All right, sales tax really quickly, $5,004,324 for Anderson County as a whole. The county portion, $602,686, which is 5,000 more than last January. So, like again, sales tax, as you can see in the graph or the chart, it's kind of leveling off. ARPA projects, we still have $198,020.43 in interest on that account. And also, on the cash and fund balance report, I don't say this, but I haven't read this out, but American Rescue Plan is on there. The cash in the bank still is $2.9 million, almost $3 million. So we are still earning interest on that, because that's in its own bank account. So that's why we have so much interest. There's still several projects that we haven't paid for or completed. And I gave a report on that in County Commission last Monday that Tyler requested, so nothing's changed on that report. And then the grant inventory list, which we added the Homeland Security grant, which I believe was on the purchasing agenda tonight. So, any questions on any of those reports? Okay. If none, moving into the budget amendments. The transfers, there are 8 of those, 1 through 8, seeking approval. As a group, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and some of the department heads or elected officials are here as well that could answer questions.
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve this group. Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Palmer moves to approve items 1 through 8 as a group. Is that how your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Seconded by Commissioner Allen. Any discussion? Commissioner Vandegrift.
I do have a question about number 3 and number 4 from the property assessor's office.
Yes.
I'm not opposing them or anything, but in the justification section.
Yeah, he didn't have
there was-
anything.
Yeah, there's no justification.
Well, I called and got one. In January, they spent most of their postage, $2,600, and they do tangible property forms. They have to mail them out to all the businesses, so he needs a little bit more postage just to make it through the year, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try, sometimes don't notice that until I start checking the budget amendments, and that's well after I've
number
sent it out to
4?
you guys.
What was number 4?
Number 4, for the health department? No, sorry.
No.
Data processing.
Data processing services?
Oh, Johnny, I don't know what that one's for. We're moving, data processing, is that where they mail the property tax forms? The state, yeah, the state does a mail out for them, and they have to pay the data processing fee from the state, and it's gone up $7,150.
Okay. And then also on number 5 from the health department?
Yes, ma'am.
What are we renting?
It's a good question.
And the reason I just was asking because is this something that we need to make sure, we're putting in the budget for next year? Or is this a one-time?
Honestly, I will get the answer for you.
Okay.
Commissioner Allen.
Yeah, this is just a general question. Some of the forms, would it be helpful to put people's phone numbers next to who wrote this form on the transfers? You have people there, for example, Charles Turner. Maybe there should be a phone number next to his name too, just to be helpful, just to be transparent, just so that we could just get in touch with people quickly. I think it would just be a nice little touch to have people's phone numbers there.
Well, the only problem I have with that, this is posted on our website, and it is a public
Oh.
record after that, so I don't think we want people's phone. I mean, I don't think they're willing to share their phone numbers. They might
Yeah.
share an email address.
I'd say office numbers or something.
Yeah.
Office number?
Sure, I can ask for that. I really try to see that they don't, when they don't have an explanation, like I contacted Johnny, but I didn't even notice. I mean, and how many times have we asked for better explanations and I've expressed that, I promise you I have. And we don't get them, so I will do better on that.
Oh, well, I think it's,
No, I mean, I
the-
really,
The people making the transfer should also.
yes, I agree.
Explain why
I
they
agree.
need the transfer.
Yeah.
I would think they would want to do that instead of getting 8 different people calling, asking them why we need to transfer. And again, I just want to make sure it's not something that we need to put on, consider for the budget next year, increasing the budget, so. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Thank you. 9 through 11 are from the school department. The first one is $200,000 from capital projects for operation of plant custodial supplies. The second one is donations, $1,875 for technology, other contracted services. And the third one is the special education fees for service, $32,741.68 to hire a speech pathologist.
Motion to approve
As a group?
as a group.
Commissioner Smallridge moves to approve items 9 through 11 as a group, seconded by Commissioner Allen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, from the property assessor's office, we have an insurance recovery for $2,654.09, moving that amount to repairs and maintenance of vehicles. And also I'm increasing the deputy code, assessor's code 106, $7,500, and increasing contracted services, city's reappraisal cost, $7,500.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Smallridge moves to approve items number 12 and 13 as a group.
As a group.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Allen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, number 14 is from the health department. It's the tobacco grant funds. There's $1,363.24 that is in the tobacco restricted funds for tobacco grant, and he's increasing the other charges. We've had this grant for several years. He still has $1,363 available to spend, and we try to, we move these funds back every year to try to get them spent, but we slowly are getting them down.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Allen moves to approve item number 14. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Vandergriff. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, 15 and 16 are both from EMA. They are both grants. The first one is the Homeland Security Grant, $25,425, increasing revenue and is increasing other supplies and materials to purchase portable barriers, portable message boards, ballistic vests, and shields. And the second one is the EOC grant, $2,942,940. If you remember last month, we moved the matching portion to this EOC grant, the county's matching portion, which was 900-something thousand, and this is the grant, 2.9 million, that we were putting in a code to start to get that building started.
Commissioner Allen moves to approve item number 15 and 16.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mays. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, 17 and 18 are from our clerk and master. The first one, 16,000 from his restricted code to, I changed this to, from office supplies to 7-Eleven furniture and fixtures, to be used for office desks, chairs, and monitors. And the second one is a $5,250 payroll transfer from part-time to clerical personnel. And, there's been a couple of vacation payouts in the clerk and master's office this year that have been over $13,000. So he hasn't spent any of the part-time, so I suggested he move that money to his full-time code.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Allen moves to approve items number 17 and 18.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Smallridge. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Robbie, I see monitors on there,
Yes.
but can data processing funds go to desk and chairs?
Honestly, with audit had a discussion with us about these data processing codes that were created years ago, this restricted codes, the language for them, and they told me that they could spend it basically for whatever they wanted to in their office if they need, whatever they needed. And they don't like to see them build up.
Yeah.
And even I took a class this week on restricted funds, and it was the same conversation. They don't want to see these funds build up. They want to see them spent first when they need new items. So yes, to be honest, it can be.
That's interesting.
I know.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Palmer.
I have a question, I guess just clarification. So we paid 2 vacation payouts here for about $13,000, you say. I know we had a couple really big vacation payouts the past year, quite a bit more than this.
So just for the clerk and master alone, that was over 540 hours of vacation payouts.
Okay, so I guess my question is how many employees do we have that we're going to have these large payouts to? And do we need to consider some sort of a policy? I don't know if that, I know HR, finance director, law director, the mayor, however, that needs to go through the HR committee or whatever. Do we need some sort of policy that caps that vacation? And I'm just wondering too, I know we load vacation, in June?
July 1.
July 1. Perhaps we need to start accruing vacation monthly instead of, front load like that. I don't know, I'm just asking and wondering, and I understand that elected officials do not have to adopt these policies that are set in place, right? But they do have to give their policy, if they have a different policy manual too, it has to be yearly approved by commission. Is that correct? Am I right in that, or?
That's what I believe, yes, this is in the
Okay.
code.
So I'm wondering, is there any way that y'all could investigate that or come
Yes.
to us with a policy or some sort of, to kind of Because how does audit look at these payouts?
We do a leave liability report for audit every year, and it's part of the audit process.
Okay.
And that tells us any comp time or vacation time that every employee in the county has at June 30th, what that payout would look like. So it's right under $1 million last year for 23, 24 for all funds. So if
Okay.
everybody left, which is not going to happen, but that's what our leave liability was at ending June 30th of 24, was $996,252.
Okay.
So, and actually, me and the mayor have already discussed this,
Okay.
and the HR director, even before and current, as something that we would like to maybe discuss. We don't really have, I mean, since the HR was moved under the mayor, we haven't had many HR advisory meetings.
Okay.
So, but I do think this is a topic that needs to be discussed. I mean, because we have a lot of department heads, myself included, who sign their timesheet, approve their own time off. I mean, the HR director did, the IT director does, the law director does. The election commissioner does. Not many of our elected officials, no elected official earns time, but some of the appointed officials do.
But some of the employees in their departments do, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So, and just the 2 vacation payouts you were talking about, we paid 285 hours out at a cost of $24,000 to one of our employees, and 266 vacation hours at a cost of $12,734 to the other employee.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, it's hard to write those checks. I mean, especially when they're not using any time and they haven't, you know, I mean, it builds up like that. If we did a vacation pay, I mean, if we did a cap, you wouldn't lose any time. It would still go towards your sick time, what you weren't paid for. So, and someone that has the ability to build up that much time is usually a long-term employee. So I do think it makes sense to possibly cap it. We have a lot of people that like to retire in July as soon as we reload, instead of, you know, that plays into it. I mean, when I was an employee, I thought about that. I mean, if you're going to quit, you want to quit in July because you have new time and you get a bigger payout. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
yes.
I'd just like to see something, you know, in, like a policy or something like that, and maybe consider that. Whatever channels that needs to go through, and I don't know what the legalities of all of that is, but it probably is something we need to look at. I mean, it seems pretty excessive.
Commissioner Bochamp.
I was gonna say the same thing on that, like, I know we had dealt with one big payout last year, and then we had another. So my concern is that people are accruing that time, and even if you're not taking a vacation, jobs are stressful. And for mental health, I think somebody should be taking that time off. We don't want to be overstressing our employees in county government. So I would like to see it capped off at something. I think that forces the employee to have to take that time. We want you to come back with a clear head, whether you're sitting at home or going shopping, or you decide to go to the beach, you just finally decide to go. I would like to see the cap on that, so we're not paying out so much, and kind of make our employees take that mental health break and use that time. So I would like to see HR or whoever get together and try to work that out to where we can kind of adopt something, to where we're not letting people accrue that much time and kind of making them take that time off.
Commissioner Mays.
And Robbie, I think we need to have something also that clearly defines the elected official versus an appointed department head, because I think that the elected official accrues only sick.
they don't accrue anything.
Well, they accrue sick, right?
No.
No?
Not anymore?
We don't. We put no time.
Never have, okay.
They have not as long as, I mean, I've done payroll for 30 years though.
I know when I left clerk's office, they had those hours rolled in there, but the appointed position, so like Jamie, yourself, others, you all accrue the time just as a regular employee, right?
That's correct.
All right. And so if someone takes vacation, that should be taken out of that bank, right?
Should be, yes.
All right.
Now, I'm not going to say that a lot of, like, I know when I take a vacation, I work some of it. I mean, I ends up working a little on my vacation.
We have a motion.
And I will put down hours if I do work.
Got off track.
So,
like
and I
there
think
to
other
be-
officials do that. I mean, other people do that too. I mean,
Yeah, I would just like there to be a clear distinction
I agree.
between the two.
Commissioner Manager.
It's just really quick, I know that this could be viewed as a benefit to, which it is, to the employees. So I think maybe it would be wise to look at maybe other counties around us and how do they handle this? And maybe we could benchmark off of some of the policies that they have. I know maybe private industry and government is not apples to apples, but definitely maybe other counties.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, the next budget amendment we have is from EMS for $46,505. Transferring into part-time, $46,505. Maintenance agreements, $37,505. Travel, $3,500. And uniforms, $5,500. And Nathan does provide a really nice explanation at the bottom.
Yes, he does.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Bochamp moves to approve item number 19, seconded by Commissioner Palmer. Any discussion? I know Nathan's not here. I think his assistant chief might be able to answer this, and it may not be something you can answer today. I'm just
I'll do my
curious
best,
more than
sir.
anything. I know there for a while, y'all were doing real well with applicants.
We still are actually.
Okay.
We just finished up a hiring process, and so it just takes time to train them, get them through our orientation process, and get them on the truck cleared.
Okay.
And so we're having a lot of part timers pick up some of the openings, and which is a nice thing. But
Right.
at the same time, it kind of meets into your budget.
Okay. All right, I was just worried there that maybe something had happened, there'd had to be a change, and
Oh,
that may have caused the need for this or something.
we just
Just
had
being paranoid.
a lot of people that we've hired, but they're just going through the process.
Okay. All right,
Thanks.
thank you. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
And the next one is a transfer of payroll for the BCIF grant, decreasing in medical insurance and software, $75,604, and increasing overtime pay, workers' comp, LE supplies, and motor vehicles.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Palmer moves to approve item number 20. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Vandegrift. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, and the last budget amendment I have is from the Election Commission, increasing medical insurance $11,704 from unassigned fund balance. And just to explain, we do have this a lot happen in, especially smaller departments. If you, we budget health insurance in April and May this year, what current employees you have. So come July, if there's been a change, you may have an employee that didn't take insurance in April and May, and your new employee picks up full family coverage. That can make the big difference in your budget as far as makes like $15,000 compared to zero. So that's the reason for that. It happens, and usually I will take care of these in June for all the departments that I see in the red, because we budget health insurance and benefits in the finance department for all the departments. So I will pick up money. I mean, if I see one department that has a lot of excess in 207, I'll move it to another department. We've done that for years.
So I guess my question then is, should that come out of 207 instead of unassigned?
It can. It would just be June before that happens.
Would that be okay for it to come out in June?
That's how we've done it in the past, yes.
Okay.
I mean, but if,
You want to put that in form of a motion?
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
I make
think
a,
we'll have
is
if
it
we have a
some-
motion, then I've got a question.
Okay.
I guess. Is that how we should?
I make a motion that we approve this, but to take it out of 207 insurance in June instead of unassigned fund balance.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Palmer's to approve item number 21, but change the funding source from the 207 code and that will take place in June at the end of the fiscal year. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smallridge. Any discussion, Commissioner
Okay,
Vandergriff?
my question is that 11,000
704.
yeah, does that just get us through the end of this fiscal year?
Based on what's coming out currently, each month that zeroes it out at the end of the year. So
Okay,
there'll be, that'll cover the cost for the medical insurance for that department.
Okay, and then next,
We budget according to what they have now,
Okay.
so it will,
Okay.
that, we increase a lot of budgets increase, you'll notice in my explanations because of benefits, and that usually means health insurance, to be honest.
so it will zero us
Yes.
out in, okay.
Commissioner Mays?
Robbie, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Robbie, at what point, I'm assuming he needs this because at some point it'll go in the red, right?
Yes.
At what point will it go in the red?
Paul, can you give me that? I have it right here, I think. It may already be in the red.
So if you say that, in fairness to Mr. Stevens, I mean, if we're going to, as a commission, hold him accountable to keeping his budget not in the red, I think it's a contradicting statement for us to wait till June to do this. So as the motion as it stands, I'm not for it. If it's even remotely close to the red,
It's in the red now, yeah.
then
It's- okay.
I will be a hard no on
Well,
this.
I'll change that motion then, because I didn't understand that.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it is in the, okay. I'll make a motion, change the motion to approve it as it is.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if you'll just indulge me for another 30 seconds.
Well, hang on just a second.
Yes.
Commissioner Smallridge, you okay with that?
Yes,
All right, go ahead, Commissioner.
Since Mark's here and members of his commission, I was going to give an update at some point in this meeting anyway, but no need for them to stay past that. In light of what happened a couple months ago and the commission asked for me to write the letter in terms of to the state regarding the vote of no confidence, I just wanted to put, and I've sent this to Jamie for his, for him to mull over, but I received a phone call from Mark Goins, who is one of the election coordinators of the state. I know Mark knows him. Just going over, just kind of highlighting kind of everything that we had talked about. And one of the things that he sent me that I wanted to share, put it in the minutes if possible, and then Jamie can, whenever he gets his official opinion together, because I made the mention of the election commission and the administrator not having to be privy to the 81 law. So he sent me TCA 2-12-210 that says nothing in Acts 1986, Chapter 930, shall be construed as conferring upon any county election commission, administrative elections, or any other county election official status as a state employee. All such persons shall be subject to all applicable purchasing and budgetary laws of such county. So that is obviously not what we have been operating under, and I know when Mr. Brooks looked at for legal opinion, I think that his focus was not necessarily in this angle. It was more just about annual budgets. But I just wanted to share what the state gave me, that he in fact is required to follow whatever budgeting and purchasing laws that we have as a county has adopted. So, and in this case, it would be the 1981 Acts. So I just wanted to update that. I'm not here to debate it or anything like that, just throwing it out there. And if we could maybe have that, of course, to be on the record, but I just wanted to update the Budget Committee based on that information.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Mr. Stevens, I'm sorry, do you have something, Commissioner
No,
Smallridge?
I was going to ask if we had a motion.
Yeah, we have a motion to approve item number 21, but taking it from the 207 code, but do it now, right?
I can't do, I mean, the reason I wait till June is I don't know what departments had money left over until I wait till the June because that's the last month of payroll, to see what departments have money available in 207. If we do it now, it should come out of unassigned. But the 207 fund, any funds left in it will roll into unassigned.
So the motion needs to be to approve it, but to take it from the unassigned fund balance as it was submitted.
Yes.
That's my motion.
Okay.
As submitted.
Seconded by you. Okay, all right. Any further discussion from the commissioners? Mr. Stevens, would you like to address this, sir?
I think, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think it wasn't a big explanation, but I think it was to the point.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
In the sections, in section A, we have 3 grant applications for approval, pre-applications. The drug court, $133,500 with no match. The juvenile court, it's a $45,000 total, but $9,000 annually, 24 to 29, no match. And the last one is the Norris Community Library. It's $1,411.20. The grant amount is $1,340.64. There is a $70.56 match. A TSLA grant.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
As a group.
Commissioner Beauchamp makes a motion to approve the grant applications as a group, seconded by Commissioner Mace.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, in section B, I put privatizing the animal shelter operation. Commissioner Mays.
Yeah,
asked
and
this to be on the agenda.
I always be very brief. I asked for it to be on both agendas so we could get full commission vote in terms of just, and again, I asked it for a budget because the conversation may eventually get to this body, but I'm simply just asking for a workshop that allows us to look at options of keeping it, operating the way we are, outsourcing it to a nonprofit, and this would be just the management of the shelter, similar to what a lot of other counties do. Again, I'm not making any foregone conclusions or decisions, but I think that it would be a good idea for us to maybe sit down in a workshop setting and have these conversations and hammer out things rather than in a brief amount of time that we get in meetings. So I'm just asking for a workshop to discuss these issues and these items. End result, it is what it is, but I think that we owe it to ourselves and everybody to have these discussions. So that's the motion I would make.
Motion by Commissioner Mays to schedule a workshop
I
to
second
discuss
that.
the possible privatizing of the county animal shelter.
I second that.
Commissioner Vandergrift seconds the motion. Any discussion?
I'd like to.
Commissioner Beauchamp.
I'm going to be in favor for the workshop, but I had sent out an email the other day when Commissioner Mays had sent that out requesting this be put on budget and operations. I know operations is going to talk about it Monday night as well. I would like a lot of kind of discussion to come out of that, working with the mayor Monday night on this. That way we can kind of go into this with some kind of plan from the recommendation of operations. I don't want to go blindly into this and us not knowing where we're going to be with this, if we're going to sit and argue or get 1,000 emails or however it's going to be handled. I would like some kind of recommendation to come out of operation to guide us, and whether that be, let's look at the angle of keeping it how it is. Second thing is privatizing it. Like, let's have a detailed list of what we're going to go into with this workshop and not waste everybody's time, not waste the citizens' time, not waste our time, and us get to nowhere. That's where we're at right now. We don't have an animal advisory board anymore. That's abolished. Resolutions now failed twice. So I think we're going to have to get out there and have some detail in what this workshop's going to require.
Commissioner Vandergrift.
I completely agree. I'd like to see some type of maybe what are the options? So let's kind of list our options, that type of thing. I'd also like to include in that, if we could, maybe some short-term volunteer, how do we manage the volunteers or how does the animal shelter manage the volunteers? How do we schedule people? How do we get people in there? And maybe, again, just some short-term until we can get a better plan. So if we could include that, I would like to see that also.
Any further discussion? I'll say this, I'm all for a workshop. I'm all for hearing new information and new ideas. What I would like to try to avoid is the same information that we've heard numerous times over and over again. If this is going to be a productive workshop where new information is being brought and we're considering a path forward, as Commissioner Beauchamp mentioned, then I think it would be beneficial. If it winds up being a rehashing of the issues, then I don't see where that's going to be beneficial at all. Going along with the train of thought up here with my fellow commissioners that I totally agree with, I'd like to ask the mayor if she would be willing to maybe do a little bit of research to see what the different options are out there, what different counties are doing or different cities are doing, all the different options that may be available. If you'd be willing to do that, ma'am. Thank you.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, I will be the first one to lay the gavel down and close the workshop the moment that it becomes just not productive and lines in the sand. And I love my kids too much to waste my time doing something like that. So, but yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with everybody.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Allen.
Yeah, I would agree on a workshop. I think that we need to, possibly look at options. The resolution has failed twice, and we have this motion that's already taken place, and that motion is for the mayor to have, buy some land and to look at some drawings and to, also build this animal shelter. And I think that's very, very important for us to know. We as a commission, we laid out and gave those directives to our mayor. And so if this workshop devolves into some shouting match of people showing up, and not being considerate of what has already been done, I would hope that the chairman would just gavel this thing down. I don't mind listening. I've already listened to everyone, and I want to find some new ideas. If there are any new ideas, maybe we are on the right path. But I think, we as a commission, need to realize how we got here. We got here by us 16 people approving this money, approving a, design, approving land, approving that we build this. And we should look at that very, very carefully. I don't like changing the horse in the middle of a stream. Thank you.
Any further discussion? So the motion on the floor is to schedule a workshop concerning possible privatizing of the county animal shelter operation.
Yeah, and I would, and if the mayor can address it if she wants, but when I made this request, I by no means asked for any kind of stoppage of what the architect is doing. Full transparency, I was a little surprised when they said 14,000 square feet. That kind of was a surprise to me. So I would obviously like to have a little more information when it comes to the shelter. But, this is, by no means asking for anybody to stop the trajectory of anything other than, I think we acknowledge there's a need for a shelter, a new shelter. We may have a difference of an opinion on how big the shelter needs to be. Are we willing to spend $6 million on a shelter? I mean, those are questions that even we have given the mayor the green light to go and apply for things. We haven't appropriated money. And the steps that we have taken thus far, she couldn't have even started the process without. So this notion that we've already signed this $6 million blank check that, or how much ever it's going to cost to do, I mean, maybe I was asleep that night or I was out that month. I don't see that we've done that. And so for me, when is the right time to have this discussion? You know, I think now is better than not ever having it. And at the end of the day, if it concludes that the path that we're on is the right path, then hey, I mean, I'm okay with it. But if it's not, then I also don't want to be so, you know, my heels dug in that we don't make that change.
Commissioner Allen.
Yeah, thank you for letting me come back again. Maybe if Commissioner Mays could change the name of the workshop, I think it gives the idea that we're definitely going to do privatization. If we come up with some general name, like options for the animal shelter, but to name it privatization, I think that sends the wrong message.
Outsourcing, I don't have a clue what else I would.
Can we just generalize it and say an animal shelter workshop?
There you go.
It was a workshop to talk about privatizing. I didn't name it private. I mean, we could name it the VL Stone Sniper Workshop. I don't really care.
Once we just label something like that, people sometimes get the idea that they're going to hammer that down.
Yeah, that's how it was listed on the agenda.
I know.
That's why I called it that. But
I know.
I mean, I think we just as easily just call it the animal.
Well, majority of my
shelter workshop.
discussion will be the angle of looking at outsourcing it. So, I mean, I don't care what you call it. I'll chair it. That's what we're going to talk about. So it's
Well,
whatever.
we can talk about different options.
Yes, but that will definitely be
And
discussed.
since we've already asked the mayor to bring different options,
I'm good with that.
all right, so it'll be titled the Animal Shelter Workshop.
Yes.
Commissioner Smullins.
I guess I have a concern about that name from the standpoint that, to me, it's going to expand. We're going to go off in several different directions.
What name is that?
The name, making it a general,
okay.
what you have there. You know, instead of kind of keeping it narrow, which I think we're trying to keep it focused, and I think we do a better job if we're going to talk about privatizing, limit it to privatizing, and I'm just afraid if we change the title to something very general, we're going to be starting over again with all the different arguments and so on. So,
Well, I'd be voting for this. I just wanted the title to be a little bit more general and not so focused. I think that's important, but, you know,
Yeah,
to the Commissioner's point, I'm all for looking at things differently.
I'm
So-
good with it. Again, again, to Commissioner Smoller's point, I'm okay with different options, but I don't know many options out there other than current trajectory, outsourcing. I was in Carter County today, the way they explained their workshop, their animal shelter structure, talking to a commissioner, it was less than ideal for them, and it was kind of a hybrid between the two. So, but if there's other things out there, kind of hence why I'm asking for this. We're not professionals in this, so this is kind of why we're.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I requested the mayor do a study and contact those other counties and areas and see how they did it. Maybe there is something out there we haven't heard of yet, but I could be wrong. I'm told I'm wrong all the time when I'm at home. Commissioner Palmer.
Do you have a date in mind?
Well, no, I would like for operations to take it up, and then full commission would take it up. So, again, I want to reiterate to everybody that's on the edge of the seat, this definitely won't be overnight, and I'm not looking to steamroll something down anybody's throat.
So operations will set the date?
Well, I think at full commission, we could set the date.
Okay.
So,
All right. Everybody understand what we're voting on? Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay. Next up, I have Johnny Alley with the Eagle View and reappraisal. I didn't know Eagle View was going to be a contract on when I added his name on here. So, but he does have one other contract to talk about that deals with reappraisal, and let him do that really quickly.
Thank you. This is really the price proposal for Deckard. It's for the short-term rental pickup I'd spoken about before. It locates the address, and number of days rented, and the amount of income that each property makes throughout the year. So I was wanting to get this approved so I could get them on the roll for this tax year. If I has to go out before May because they need to get an assessment change notice in the event they need to appeal. That's state law. They have to be notified ahead of time.
You know the cost of that?
The cost is $5,000 for the Deckard Technologies.
Is this a sole source also?
No, it's under the
Under bid.
Huh?
It doesn't, it's under quote, it's under the
Oh,
quote
it's under
threshold
the
and the
10,
bid threshold, so we
yeah.
can,
Okay.
And the last quote I had from another company that does the similar thing was $24,000. So a lot of the counties across East Tennessee have gone with Deckard over the other company. I didn't have any at this point.
Is this per year or a one-time?
Per year, yes.
It's $5,000 per year.
Mhm. And it'll help with the hotel motel tax. It'll come in off personal property tax. And then we've probably got most of them picked up at 25%, but they will go to 40% for a rental property. The estimate the company gave me was somewhere between $70,000 and $75,000. They thought that it would make the first year, but I won't know till we get into it.
How do you handle this now?
We don't. We've not picked them up yet. I've been letting the appeals get out of the way, and there's a lot of counties that's been fighting it and people have filed appeals across the state. But I think all that's settled down, and that's why I'm moving to do it on the reappraisal year.
if this is this a multi-year contract as well with them? We'll probably have to bring this back to budget. If it's a 2-year contract, then it'll have to go through legal and be brought back here
He
for
said
approval
2 year.
anyway. So, okay.
And I can skip years. I think that after 2 years I could pull off, but then I'd have to run it again to find the new ones. We can't find the address until you book one. It might say Laurel Road or Dutch Valley or Charles Severs Boulevard, but we can't find who to send the bill to. And they've got a method of getting into the system of who pays some way and brushing through the internet to find out all that information for us. And it'd help us in an appeal if somebody appeals their value because they say, well, we don't rent it enough.
What is this coming out of? I swear I can't find it anywhere.
It's under. It's not in the packet.
Yeah.
My recommendation would be this: since it's a 2-year contract, it's going to have to go to legal review and to the budget committee anyway for approval. So I think you just need to get us the specifics in the contract to go ahead and get approved.
You looked through it already?
I haven't seen that one.
This was in our packet.
I
Okay.
didn't know Catherine had. We've seen the Eagle View. This is
I think
different.
Johnny delivered it to me or someone from his office, so I don't know, it hasn't come out.
Okay. So it'll come to budget committee next month.
Okay, this came from Johnny, not from you, so this needs to go through you all before.
It has to go through budget.
Address it.
Through this committee too, officially.
So do we need to defer it till next month, or just it'll automatically do it?
I would think so, yes.
Defer it or no action needed.
I don't think there's any, I think it needs to be deferred. I mean, until it's brought officially to this committee and legal review, I don't think there's anything we can act on.
I did have a quick question though, so the purpose of this software is to run a report that basically says these are properties that are.
It'll give the owner, it'll give the address and the owner's address and how many
And then you
times.
can cross-reference that to.
Well, I'll just take that and send them their information that they need for personal property schedules and for tax bill and increases off that, because it'll be assessed at 40 instead of 25. All right, thank you.
Thanks, John.
So we need
I think it's automatic to come back.
More of information only. Also, so on the budgets, the next item on the agenda, I gave you all this tonight.
Yep.
It's got every budget in the county, that's general fund. The general fund are the first 3 pages, the big pages. I've tried to give an explanation of what changed in the budget. A lot of them highlighted in yellow, I think need to come to the budget hearings. So if you look, we had revenue with the reappraisal year, we really don't increase property taxes because we are supposed to get the same. We will have new growth. I haven't gotten a report from Billy yet because I don't know that they've started doing a lot of that. But right now, our revenue's at $42,983,885. Now, I don't have some of the grants in there. That would be the only difference. You see it's less than last year. If you notice, federal government, 4,700 was 1.6 million last year. I have 327,000. Grants are a little slower. We don't know if a lot of those are going to get approved for the next year. So I don't want to put them in the budget if we're not getting them. So, and expenditures right now are at $45,231,841, which is a budget deficit of $2,247,956. Now, not everybody turned in a no increase budget. The sheriff turned in budgets with a 5% increase for all their employees. We have the veterans officer in there with a 20% increase. Johnny's budget increased $205,277. So these are things that we're going to have to discuss in budget hearings. I recommend, honestly, we need a budget meeting devoted for budget. I recommend we have a second meeting in April. Schedule a second budget meeting in April to discuss budgets only, and have the budget hearings that day as well. And because really we're supposed to act on these budgets in April, approve or deny, and so they can go back to the drawing board if we don't want to approve these budgets, which I don't recommend approving a $2.2 million budget deficit with no reoccurring funds. So it's not, I'll bring the Commissioner Fritz philosophy in here. He always argued that if you don't have reoccurring funds, you shouldn't approve this. We did a budget deficit last year of I don't remember, 4 or 8 million. So probably not 8, but 1.4 or something like that. So I don't recommend, we're going to have to look at making some cuts or something. So let's schedule a second meeting in April, and we can do that today if you'd like.
So the 10th is the regular meeting, right?
Yes.
I won't be here on the 10th. I'll be out of town.
You'll be here for the
My
budget
nephew's
hearings.
graduating from the Marines, so I can't be here.
Do you want to keep it on a Thursday or?
I can do any. Well, I am out a couple of days in April, but I'm trying to look and see what days those are. (16th and 17th). So the last week, maybe.
24th.
No, I'm fine with that if you all are. Or it can be a different day if you don't like Thursday. It's totally up to you all.
Everybody okay with the 24th?
So I can get it noticed if we make a date. And
24th good?
at 4 o'clock.
4?
All right, we'll set it for Thursday, April 24th at 4 o'clock.
I'll be at county attorney conference.
On that.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and deny your budget then.
Oh, we forgot to tell you that's how that works, Jamie.
That's what I figured.
So that was the postal meters, that rental.
Okay, thank you. The postage meter's the rental, like Pitney Bowes, I'd say.
Okay,
Oh.
that makes sense.
Well, Jamie's don't even have a hearing request.
No, he doesn't.
Do you think you will?
No, I don't. His came in a little, it was 20,000 more, but
It's nominal.
2.9 cost of living. The judges and the law director get the 2.9%, and there was a little bit of a benefit increase that we have to budget for. So, but if you look at the other two pages at the end that I've attached, they're the other funds. I think the library, we do have some, we made a move last year that we had some discussion over if we moved pennies away from them.
How many hearings do you think we'll have, Robbie?
Just one, in my opinion. If we can't get it, how many departments?
Yeah.
Well, all the sheriff, EMS always, because he always submits 3 budgets.
You think we get all the hearings done in one day?
I think so. I have about 10 on here, but the sheriff's probably 5 of them. EMS would make 6. The other smaller departments.
So you think 4 o'clock's early enough?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But the other funds, I think, are in good shape. And the debt service funds and the general capital projects and the educational capital projects are always a revenue and expenditure they balance. So general fund's just not in great shape right now, so we need to work on that. That we can do that on the 24th. That's all I really have to say.
Did you stick with the 24th?
Yeah, I think so.
Would we, I mean, in fairness to him, we'll.
I'm fine moving it, like I said.
No, I'm saying in fairness to him, if we do.
We could give him another option.
We're not gonna, I would not feel comfortable taking it up, knowing that he's given us notice.
Yes.
So we can do it on a different date.
Sure.
All right.
I mean, we could even do it at the regular budget meeting, some of them if he wanted to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Maybe
too.
that's what we could do. for
Yeah.
him. Okay.
Maybe the first thing. All right. That's all. Anybody have any questions about budgets or? Okay. You can look this over. It tells you every department. I try to put a lot of information in there. So it's not a breakdown line by line, but it's their total budget. The first column is this year's budget, amended budget, and the proposal for next year. So, okay, new business. There are 2 items on new business. The first one would be the opioid committee. They made decisions on how to fund their money, and I'll let Shelley just, if you would want to, since you're the chairman of that committee.
Okay, so we did meet in February, actually, February 13th, and we went through, we had 28 applications for opioid funds. When we talked with UT and Smart Initiative, they actually said that that was the most applications that they had seen in any county. So I think that's pretty great that we've got a very active and engaged community. So we did rank the 28. We took our top 10. We ranked each one of the 28 applications, and then we started from the top, and the one that had the least points had the most priority. So we went through, and as we went through, we actually made recommendations on award funding. We have a spreadsheet which you all should have in front of you. I'm sorry that I sent the wrong one to Robbie last week. And thank you, Commissioner Palmer, for sending the correct one. And so we had a total of $427,444 that we allocated. Out of the settlement funds, we had $425,159.28, and so the remainder $2,284.72 needs to come out of the remediation funds. So I think all we have to do by March 31st is allocate the funds. So when we approve that through the full commission, that should take care of that requirement. After that, then we can develop the contracts, get the contracts signed. Robbie, those will,
Right.
yes.
But talking to John Prince, our grant coordinator, he said that the contract starts 7/1. So really, there's not any reason to appropriate the funds in this year's, in this current fiscal year. I will probably just put them in the budget starting July 1st, so they'll be available then.
But we do have to have them allocated.
That's why you need approval for this.
So we will need approval. I guess we could do a motion here, or I've added that to the minutes.
Make a motion to approve
Okay.
tonight.
Okay.
And just give you guys kudos for doing an amazing job on this.
Oh, I just, the committee is great. Commissioner Beauchamp, Commissioner Palmer is amazing. I know Commissioner Mays, you helped a lot on that
Y'all did.
also.
Y'all are
To kind of put us together with the UT Smart Initiative. They have been amazing. The mayor has been so supportive of this. So I'm really excited about distributing these funds and getting them out in the community and see what a difference that we can make in lives.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I would add Stephanie Wells.
Oh, Stephanie
She
Wells, oh, yes.
got the application on the, and condensed it for us to see. and
Yes.
She was very
Oh,
helpful.
amazing, amazing. So we thank her, so.
So, motions by Commissioner Mays to approve,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Palmer.
That's what I was saying.
Any discussion?
And Robbie did okay too.
And Robbie did okay too. You want that in the motion?
And Charlie.
No,
You don't want that in
definitely
the
not.
motion?
I did okay, get in a second.
I'll make one little comment to that. I attended some of those meetings, and I really appreciate the efforts. That committee went out into the communities to begin with. They beat the bushes, so to speak, to try to find out what needs were out there in the community. I really do wish that we could have approved all the requests.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear any that I immediately dismissed and thought were just totally not worthy. I think every one of them serves our communities well, and I think they do a great job in what they do. And hopefully, and I think Commissioner Palmer even mentioned this during the meetings, hopefully they'll come back
Absolutely.
again and certainly be considered again for the next time. So I'll go along with Commissioner Mays on that. They did an excellent job. Any further discussion?
So I think Commissioner Palmer just wanted me to mention, kind of piggyback on what you said. So we will continue to receive these funds every year. So every year we will have to allocate these funds. So we will open up, just like we did this year, we're going to open up a month where we'll accept applications. And we actually are going to have a meeting on March 25th. And we're going to talk about maybe some improvements that we can make to the process. And just make it better for everybody.
And also, UT Smart
Yep.
Initiative is going to do a
Needs assessment.
needs assessment, and that will take about 6 months, not quite 6 months. So then we'll have all of that information to use to appropriate future funds, maybe a little bit better.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, and the last thing I have on new business is the technology upgrades to the circuit and criminal court. I think our IT director's here, as well as Rex, our circuit court clerk, to discuss this.
In your packet, you should have a packet with a letter on the top was from Judge Spitzer, and then the rest of it is the quote to do with the technology upgrades. Just to let you know, we started this project probably sometime early, mid last year, evaluating all our courtrooms. We have 5 courtrooms, trying to figure out the needs. At the time, we just said, okay, what would it cost to upgrade all 5 courtrooms? The quotes come in, and Brian actually went out, and we went to him and says, can you find us some courtrooms somewhere in the state that works good? He recommended the one in Roane County. He knows the vendor well, and we looked at the pricing. And so we said, great. We brought, I think, a couple of commissioners came to a meeting. We have the vendor, and we talked about some of the needs. So the quote come back about a little over $250,000. And that was a lot more than we'd expected, but we just need to know. So then we went back and said, okay, what do we need right now? And so the current needs are for just our criminal and circuit courtroom where Judge Spitzer works. That's we're desperately needing. I think in his letter he talked about being antiquated. He's putting it politely. Just so you know, if you remember going to school, we had the Elmo machines, the projectors that sit on there, and we'd write and it'd shoot up on the table.
I still use those.
Well, that is our latest technology upgrade that we have in that courtroom, and it's probably 15 plus years old. So we have lawyers. They come in with their technology, and they try to hook up the sound or to the TVs. And to be honest, it's pretty embarrassing at times. We have issues where when the lawyers need to talk to the judge, they go to the bench, and he has to cover up his mic and put it out of the way, and they have to whisper. We actually had one judge, he would have to get up and he'd walk over in the corner of the courtroom so they could talk because they didn't want it to be picked up on the sound. So I'd say it's desperately needed. So I was actually going to look to put it into the budget for next year, maybe a capital outlay. Discussed it with Robbie, and Robbie said there's actually some money in a code that would may have enough to pay for this. This takes care of the circuit in the criminal courtroom, but we also have to upgrade the video arraignment system. And if you do the video arraignments in that room to the jail, then you have to upgrade the video arraignments in both general sessions courtrooms. So this just does the video arraignments in general sessions 1 and 2. That's all we're upgrading there, and then in the jail as well. And so this should take care of our needs for at least 2 years. Most of the other courtrooms are in pretty good shape. It'd be at least 2 years, maybe it could be up to 5 years before we're going to come back and need anything else. But Brian can here to talk about the specifics, but we'll take any questions you may have.
Robbie, I have a question. What code do you want to know?
Well, I just, in the workshop, Rex came to the workshop and talked about this, and I said that we had the 171 possibly as a fund that could pay for some capital outlay projects. It's not a huge fund, but it can cover 69,000. So.
And one other thing, I wanted to speak, General Clark was here, and he was going to provide an email. I didn't get it yet, and I asked him in there, I said, can I say that you said you support this? And he said, greatly support it, greatly need this. So he supports the project as well.
I want to make a motion for discussion, but make a motion to approve this out of the 171 fund. And after a second, I do have a question for.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Allen. Any discussion? Commissioner Mays?
Yes, sir. Two things. I always find it, I do wish the ASC would provide more grant funding, because the state always tells us everything that we need, and it costs a lot of money, but they never seem to write a check for it at all. I support this, but BIS Digital, what was the price on it?
Well, I didn't get an exact quote from them. I think, Steve, just from doing the audio recording system we did in General Sessions 1 last year, probably twice what this cost. And then the biggest problem you have with BIS is the maintenance agreements and their proprietary equipment.
Yeah.
We're locked in. We can't, Brian and his guys can't work on it. We have to call them. And he may speak better on this, but most of this stuff is, how do you say, off the shelf?
It's analog as well. But
Yeah.
a lot of the old stuff we have in the courtrooms is analog. We're literally not even in the digital. It's analog equipment, VGA connectors, the screen laminate projectors, if that answers your question.
Yeah, and Robbie, with this amount, is this state?
69,000.
No, I know that,
Oh, yeah,
but
sorry.
is it state contract?
It is. We're able to buy from a state contract. That's why I asked Catherine why we didn't, because when Rex brought me this, I said, okay, it's 69,000. Why are we not bidding this out? We were able to buy off a state contract.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Palmer?
So is there a monthly service agreement that goes with this?
There will be a maintenance agreement, which
Maintenance.
I'll cover that in my budget. I'll be honest, Ralph, the first few years, the cost is lower, but as the older equipment gets older, it increases a little bit, but it'll be covered in my budget. And I won't be coming asking for more money. I've already have maintenance agreements money in my budget, so that I'll be able to
Is
take
that
care
your
of that.
data processing? I think
That'd be
every-
under, I'm not sure what the code is. It's where we do all our maintenance agreements.
334.
334.
So I'm assuming you don't have money in your budget to cover this?
Not the purchase. I do for the maintenance.
We can take it from his data processing, don't worry.
You will take care of his data
No.
processing?
Well, yes, we will. If he doesn't have the money, the county, that's part of the process,
For the equipment?
Yes. Not that, I'm talking about your maintenance.
Yes, for maintenance, we can do that.
Okay.
I'm talking maintenance.
Yeah.
I'll take it for equipment too.
Is there money in there? Is there money in his budget for this equipment?
There's not enough.
Okay.
Rex says he has 66. I did pull that just because I thought it
Okay.
could come up. We could take half of it. I'm just kidding. Whatever.
But we do have a contract. It'll be a budget proposal, probably be bringing next month for probably 20 to 28 that comes out of data processing, but I don't have it ready today.
Any further discussion? So the motion on the floor is to approve the request, taking the funds out of the 171 code. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Thank you. And the 171 fund is budgeted. We have a budget, so really we don't have to do a budget amendment. I just want you all, whenever it's something that big, I'd like for y'all to know about it and a different project. So.
Any more new business? Do we have any unfinished business? Do we have any business come before the committee at all? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Keep it on straight.
I don't. It's all a facade.
Live.
It's all a facade.